4 weeks ago, we were looking forward to going to Wembley. 4 weeks later, and we're asking for the corner flag posts. Just what has happened to Watford? Welcome back to our Hornets Walk. That's what we're exploring this week. We've now got James and others saying, sack Javi tonight. How did we get here then? Well, that's the job of Rio, Luke and Aaron this week to explain just why are the wheels falling off Watford. Great to have your company back with us. If you haven't yet come across the channel, it's just 20 minutes reviewing the good, the bad and the indifferent social media takes of Watford FC, and quite a lot to get through following a pretty inept performance at Ewood Park, Rio.
Yeah, I thought compared to recent weeks, we actually started off all right. And what lots of our fans have been calling for is play the ball to Kieran God's feet, and that's what we did. And we started off really well. Obviously, got the goal, and then as soon as that goal happened, it all fell apart. Lack of concentration has kind of been the story of our season this last few weeks.
Do you understand the Javi out posts, Rio, or is it too reactionary?
I'm Javi change personally. I think it's hard to say sack a manager when if you win your game in hand, you're in the playoffs, and we've lost. People will point to we've lost 2 and 16, so that's all very good. But yeah, I think it's more the performances, that, if anything, and the treatment of some players.
What's your take on it, Aaron, please?
I see. I don't really know if I'm in the minority or majority at the minute because it changes every week, and I see like sort of both sides. But I'm firmly in the no. I wouldn't sack him. I think it's very reactionary. Whilst I absolutely accept the performances of the last few games have been nowhere near what we were producing, I don't think it's all on him. Yes, with the team selections, there could be things that I or maybe other fans would do differently. But with Elaine going and the players coming back from AFCON and then the injuries on top of that, it's sort of like the squad just was settled and now it's just become unsettled again. And we're back to trying and find that team. Because we know Javi from before. He likes to have, where he can, the same 11 playing most weeks. And obviously we've seen success in those spells where he has got the same 11 playing each week. For me, the Elaine transfer recall, so to speak, has been a bigger detriment than we probably all thought it would be. I think without him next to whatever centre back we choose to play, whether it be Pollock or one of the other ones, we're so limited. And that's why a lot of fans have been like sort of rebuffing Javi about asking for defenders. Saying that he shouldn't need to and that he should just be using the squad we've got. I actually disagree. I think we have a severe lack now of a ball-playing centre-back, and without a ball-playing centre-back, we can't play the way we were playing. Hence, we're now trying out, 4-4-2 again, trying to play out of the back with two centre-backs that really can't play out from the back, and we knew this before Javi was even appointed.
Yeah. Cheers, Aaron. How do you respond to Harry here, Luke, please? Harry says, time to go, in my opinion. 2 out of 9 against 2 bottom sides. A disgraceful management from the coaching team for Vata to get injured. No reason with talented wingers that we have. Bar looked positive in the last 10 minutes again. We will not go up with a coach who fails to recognise our best players. And I think that was echoed by a lot of fans, that it's the selections rather than the tactics. Luke, do you agree or not?
No, I think it's a ridiculous statement. We've been doing really well since we've had Javi. We've been a much better side, and we've actually found a solution in terms of what that strong 11 is. And the point on Bar, I think the reason Javi doesn't pick him is because he needs his wingers to work back, and Bar doesn't do that. And I think that's the sole reason that Bar's not getting picked. I don't think it's because he doesn't think he's good enough. It's simply based on work rate and getting back. I also think that where we have had 3 results where yes, we haven't got the results that we wanted, but you look at where we was talking 2 weeks ago, we was thinking playoffs. It's very reactionary. It's the championship. We're playing games thick and fast. Yes, we're going to have injuries, and yes, we've lost a lane, but we're just going to have to weather the storm for a bit. And on the point of us drawing again, so on the bottom 2 sides, I think is poor on that matter. Just because I think what doesn't help, I don't know if this is a bit ridiculous of me saying this. I generally think if we didn't play Sheffield Wednesday and Portsmouth on a midweek Tuesday or Wednesday, where the ground's half empty, it feels like a Carabao Cup first round game, the atmosphere's flat, I generally think you get the results. I think these midweek games at home for us just seem so flat, And I think if you played him, I generally, this is ridiculous me saying, I generally think if we played him on Saturday, you get more fans in, we'd beat him with an atmosphere because that's the difference. And then just on the Millwall game as well, where we're talking about the last few games, Javi was simply outcoached. And they were the best team, and they will be the best team that we'll see play at the Vic this season. They were brilliant, and they're probably going to get top 6 now. But just frustrating those last couple of games. But yeah.
Just staying on the bar theme a second, there was a few that said things like this. Cheers, Luke. Rio. Jake says, if I'm Bar, I'd put in a transfer request in. It's absolutely ridiculous that he came on with just 10 minutes to go. Yeah, just share the sympathies.
Yeah, as Luke mentioned previously, it's probably about Javi's formation, what he wants from his wingers, because we play with quite narrow wingers. He prefers int, batter, he keeps his shape well. But yeah, Bar, we've seen previously, last couple of games, he didn't come on against Portsmouth. Apparently, he stormed down the tunnel. And apparently, he stormed down the tunnel again when Batter came off and Chabadazzi came off ahead of him. So he's clearly not happy. I think he's a talented player, but maybe we do overhype him because I think since his injury, he's been a bit more cautious and maybe not as explosive as he was before. Obviously, he's had 2 very big injuries last season. So yeah, I'm more worried. Not worried. I'd rather Aaron Kunda. He's ahead of Bar in the pecking order for me. I think he deserves to start.
Yeah, all very negative this week, I'm afraid. Carry it on. Pedro says, what a horrendous last 4 matches. What is wrong with this club, Aaron? We have such a bad run every single year after the new year starts. Every bloody year we flop. It's pathetic, just like our performances over the last 4 games. And we have spoken a little bit about this year. You haven't had a bad run. Obviously, at the start, when you change your manager, but under Javi, you've been doing all right and ticking on nicely. So every team's due on, aren't they? Stoke have had theirs. Preston are going through theirs at the moment.
Yeah, exactly that. And the hope is that this is just ours. And this is where, your football manager earns his money. We're playing not as well as we were. We're in a bit of a rut in the last 3 games. You've got games coming. We're not playing any of like the top team. Obviously, got Hull in that midweek. We're not playing the top teams yet. So there's time to turn it around. And I think, I think to sack the coach before even giving him a chance to do that is what Watford have failed at every time with these, with our managerial appointments. We never give the manager a chance to do it. And I'm hoping they will give Javi this one. For me, we sat here at the start of the season, we were like, we might go down. And then we had a good window. And then it was like, okay, we might be better, but we're probably not getting the playoffs. And now we're right in it still. I don't see why everyone has now sort of moved the goalposts and sees it as we must be in the playoffs. We must go up this year. Just because we had that really good one, which was under Javi. So I do think it is a bit fickle, and it's still, we talked before about that culture of the fact that whilst we haven't always agreed, the constant moving of managers means that sort of more fun we have it in our mind now that bad run, manager needs to change. And I think it's really important that we try and not do that this time and actually just give him a chance to turn it around himself and make these decisions. If he doesn't, if we go through the next 4 games and we lose them all, then obviously you have to start having a conversation. But we can't just go on a run of 4 games, like you say, like any team might do, and get called for his head. We need to, as a fan base, do what we've called our owners to do for so long, and actually give him a chance.
I just think there's so many games we'll look on at the end of the season thinking, if only we won here and there. I think we've taken 7 out of 18 points against the bottom 4 in comparison to 7 out of 12 against the top 4 or something. I mean, there's so many games such as Sheffield Wednesday at home, Blackburn home and away, Portsmouth home and away. We played Sheffield United when they were bottom of the league, kick-started their season. We played Millwall away when they had like 17 odd injuries. And there's literally not one game I've come away from this season. Maybe Millwall at home the closest, thinking, yeah, we didn't stand a chance there. Like we haven't played at Leeds 100 points, Burnley 100 points. I think the league, the standard is really on the floor, and I also think it's about what happens next season as well. We won't have the likes of Loser, like we'll be losing lots of star players. So I think this season is probably our best shot at promotion, and that's why fans are getting frustrated, thinking there's so many maybe more simple things we could have done, and we could maybe be 7 points inside the playoffs, like a Mill or Hull are right now.
The one positive, Luke, is that with the signing we spoke about last week, Eduardo Bor is with you now. How would you treat him in terms of making sure, obviously, he's looked after, given obviously his lack of game time?
Yeah, I think he's got to be eased in. From what I've been reading, it's going to be at least a month before we probably even seeing him within the bench, which makes sense. And I do think he'll make those 2 or 3 appearances tops off the bench, and then he'll most likely be taking Kipriano's spot within the side. And for a player of that level to be playing for us is generally ridiculous. And I wish we could get him sooner, because we could really do with a player of that level at this moment. And from a financial perspective, this could be a huge gain for us as well. If he does really well, even the next 6 months, we could even see him go into the Prem. It could be quite a quick sort of bit of profit. It's a great financial move from the Pozzos, and also it's really good for his career. And I'm glad he's picked good old Watford. I believe Calafiori was the reason why, apparently sold him the dream. But yeah, it's a brilliant signing for us. Who would have thought a player of that caliber would be playing for us in the Championship?
Okay. After Swansea this weekend, the transfer window slams shut just before we get Hull back in our fixture list. What needs to happen for you, Aaron, in the next 6 or 7 days?
Needs to be at least one defender, ideally 2, a fullback and a centre back. Because, like I say, we were playing really well, and maybe we didn't realise it at the time, but Elaine was a big part of that. Because, you know, if you look at how Millwall played against us, how the Everton played against us, beforehand, we had that threat of loser is the playmaker. Yes, you're going to try and mark him out of the game, but if you don't, Elaine will pass it around you and get it to the fullbacks and get it where it needs to go. If you've got loser covered, we had 2 ways of doing things. Well, now when the centre backs can't play the ball, they're always looking for the fullback or loser. So all the other teams are doing is sitting their players really far wide, one man on loser, and it's like, go on, centre backs play the ball, and they can't do it. They can't play the ball, so then we go nowhere. If they can just get someone in that has, you know, that ability to play on the ball from the defence, I think you'll see us flying again.
Okay. Rio, anything else on the list?
Yeah, I completely reiterate what Aaron said. I think we need a left back and centre back. I mean, some people are saying a striker, but that isn't going to happen because we signed 2 strikers in the summer. I mean, it's the 26th of January as we're speaking, and there's literally the deadline shuts in a week. So the closer we get to that deadline, the more I'm fearing that if we do sign a left back or centre back, it'll be through some ties with Udinese or maybe Mogi Boya, Cherale special. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that we've left it this late to sign players, because our form's tailed off in January, and it did again last season because our business has been slow. And I also think on the outgoing side, hopefully some more stuff happens. You've got both Mendy's who don't get a look in. You get Petrie, who actually, Aaron, I'd say we actually need a right back. He literally said Petrie isn't seen as an option at right back. So we've just got Ngakura and maybe a Banquer. There's rumours Sissoko could be off. Gets in there. Yeah, just maybe we need to offload the deadwood. Morris, he's waiting to go to Leyton Orient.
Yeah, what drives me nuts is that we've just had Elaine for that first half of the season, and we've taken a player who hadn't had a single look in at City, hadn't had a look in senior football, and we propelled him to the point where they're willing to trust him playing Premier League football matches. Why aren't we going to other teams and going, look, here's the proof in the pudding. We can make a young player play to the level, the standard that you need. Send us in for half a season. I don't know why they don't use that more, especially when we're next door to Arsenal. It bewilders me.
Did you not see Barami say that we've, after the Elaine loan and how well it's gone at City when he's been back, we've had multiple Premier League clubs like offer us players? I mean, why aren't we taking them?
Yeah, they can't be that great, surely. Then that's the thing.
I wouldn't hold your hopes up for Arsenal having any connections with you. I think I think they're going to be doing lots for old mate Mr. Wilshire down the road. From what we hear. So maybe have to look at Spurs. Oh, actually, maybe not.
James Scarlett on loan or something.
Yeah. Right then, we're up to letter M in our A to Z of Watford. That's still to come. So get thinking caps on for that, please. It's got us thinking about managers though, because the letter M, and we're posing to the panel this week. Who's been the best manager, not in terms of success, but in terms of best football played? Who's the one manager that you look forward to genuinely going and watching their style of football? Next week we're doing the reverse of that, and we want your comments, please. Who's been the worst? Not in terms of results or you wanted to get rid of, but what was the worst style of football that you had to endure?
We know Luke's answer on this.
Easy.
I'm gonna buy Roy Hodgson chat next week. I mean, we've got to get over that.
Yeah, we'll put it to the side for 1 week.
So let us know in the comments, please. Also, letter N as well. We're up to next week, so give me your thoughts on that. But yeah, Rio, for you, the best In your lifetime, of course, you can't
So
you can't
if we're
comment
talking
on.
about what he's done, it is probably having Garcia an FA Cup final, champion for Europe, whatever. But if we're talking about best football, I mean, this is still like maybe 5 years into supporting Watford, 2017. Marco Silva, I think what he's gone on to do after Watford, successful manager with Everton and Fulham, they're Premier League regulars. He's been wanted by big clubs and well, Saudi, that's not big, but I think he played some really good football with us. We were in the top four in like November, but then there was rumours about Everton, and it kind of dropped off after that. He eventually left, and I think that football we were playing with him, Richarlison, last minute winners at Swansea. Yeah, he's the best manager style of football I've seen.
Okay, Luke.
I'm gonna go a little bit past that. I'm gonna go for Jukanovic. In the season that we did get promoted, it was just the football, the side of quality that we had. It all just went well. It was very free flowing attacking football. You know, our defense was really strong, but there was games that we would concede, one or two. But we were so good going forward. We'd score about 4 or 5. I remember obviously the Blackpool game where it was 2-0 down at half time and won 7-2, which is just ridiculous. That could be. It was just so enjoyable watching that. It's free flowing. It's just proper enjoyable football to watch. That's all I remember. It was all good memories of watching football that week. I knew I was always going to get goals every week, regardless if it was going to be us.
Aaron.
They've took the two names that I'd have given you, I think, because but I'll give you another one, and I'll go with Zola. Just because, although we didn't go up that season, that run to get us into the playoffs, we weren't necessarily a team that dominated the ball or anything, but we were a brilliant counter-attacking side, and the amount we used sort of the pace when we had sort of a young Vidra up front with a young Troy Deeney. I quite like counter-attacking football, which is obviously what we're trying to do at the minute. I think that ability to quickly move the ball so fast and end up with the other end of the goal is something to be reckoned with. And I'll give you Zola.
All right, good stuff. Okay, on to letter M. Then we've reached the halfway point of the alphabet. They've got some tricky letters coming up in the next couple of weeks, so they're going to need your help. But who gets in for M? Open forum. Who's got a good one?
I've got one. I wouldn't say he's like a great player, but maybe a bit of a cult hero. So, if I was to ask Aaron and Luke, like, what's their favourite, like, maybe goal during lockdown and COVID or moment, they'd probably say Adam Messina against Cardiff away, living room limbs. Yep. So
free kick.
Yep. So when you look, imagine if fans were on the ground. When you look back at like the moment where we were like, we're getting promoted, that was it. Like the momentum we had after that was crazy. I think we won 17 out of 25 games or something under Zisco, and Adam Messina personally just for that goal.
Sure. Anybody else?
You taking M as the surname?
Yes, as we do every week, Aaron.
I'm just checking because I've had some with this rule before.
Weeks. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Another cult hero kind of pick. The promotion squad in 14-15. Gianni Minari. He was an Italian midfielder. He must have been like 34, 35 by then. But because he played around the Serie A and then come play in the Championship, you could tell although he had no legs, he just had the quality about him. And I remember some of the passes he would play would just be absolutely unbelievable. It was like having like a really old loser back then. And so that's gonna be mine, Gianni Minari.
Yeah. Anything to add, Luke?
One when I first started going to Watford, a young lad from the academy, Sean Murray. Really enjoyed watching him every week, and he's just one of those sort of like old school Watford players. As you come up in a conversation, he was a good little midfielder, him. So Sean Murray for me this week.
Okay. Surprised no one mentioned Glenn Murray.
I was thinking of Glenn Murray, and then I thought, I'll do a niche one.
Okay.
This week.
Right then, who deserves to go in, Rio? You can choose this week out of those names you've heard.
What do you guys reckon? We're a bit tied here.
I like Aaron's one. Aaron's a niche.
Yeah,
we'll go Aaron's very niche. I was going to say give it Sean Murray, to be fair, but
okay. 2 votes Sean Murray then. We'll go for Sean.
All right, Sean Murray gets in the A to Z of Watford. Okay, have they missed anybody though? Especially if you're a little bit older than this lot. Who have they missed from yesteryear? Thank you very much, you three. Next week, letter N, and of course we're looking back at that Swansea game this weekend as well. Plus, who is the worst ever manager that you've had to sit and watch some god awful football through? Let us know in the comments. We'll read some of your posts on that out next week. Do drop a sub if you haven't yet already done so. 20 minutes of Watford chat coming up your weekly. Let's fingers crossed we can get back on the gravy train this weekend against the Swans. Catch you then.